Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the OK Grognard Show. It is Monday, September 28th, 2020, 10 a.m. Central in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's Monday, so it's weekly news and announcements day, and we've got all sorts of exciting stuff. Do we really? I think we've got some kind of exciting stuff, but I don't know about all sorts. Who we got out there lurking in the chat? Feel free to chime in. I think we had more people waiting for the show than we now have for the show. I spread the word as far and wide as I could that it was starting at 10 a.m. today and going forward. I've been doing it for about a week, and I think I still had people popping in expecting the show to start at 9:30, which means they got here about 9:40 or 9:50. And then here we are at 10 a.m. Actually starting on time for a change because we moved the time back. I don't know if it was tough to start the show at 9:30, but it seemed like increasingly things would get in the way on my day such that I would not quite be able to start by 9:30. And then we have this other thing where we really have to start a minute early because the commercials that Twitch will sporadically throw up at the beginning of when you stream that take out a half a minute to a minute, sometimes a little longer I've seen on when I go to some channels. And so, while that won't affect a recording because you're recording outside and you're recording what you're broadcasting before it goes out, essentially, I can still get a recording of me uninterrupted and with no commercial. But anybody who's following in the stream will see a commercial and miss the first 30 seconds or a minute or possibly a little more of the show. So we've kind of fixed that in that we will start the stream up just before 10 a.m. And then we won't start actually recording or doing the show until 10 a.m. And that way, hopefully we'll keep these timing issues to a minimum and make the whole thing smooth as silk, because that's kind of what you think of when you see a crusty old gamer like myself doing something with technology, is you think, man, that guy's smooth. That guy just has it all together. Is he just... Boy, that's not my uncle. My uncle would really be screwing this up. Hey, Grandpa, you got that tech all dialed in yet? Oh, yeah. Look at the wrinkles in the green screen that make everything ripple. Oh, yeah. We got it all, baby. We are golden. So I see, is it Carlos in the chat there? Nice. Nice. So we were going to do something fun today. I did want to mention we gave out another virtual Greyhawk Con. Not Greyhawk. What the hell is that? The combination. I'm just putting all my words into one big messy pile today. A virtual Greyhawk Con badge for November. Who was the winner? Well, the winner was Prometheus Bound. He did win a set of dice back in the early days. He might have been the first dice winner. No, maybe not. I think Mike won the first set. No, Jen Martin, that's right. Jen won, then Dennis, then Mike, then Todd, then Chris, then Dan. Dan was actually the last of the dice winners, and now he's won a wonderful badge for Virtual Greyhawk Con. And 5, 10, 15, 16. I have now provided 16 people with badges for Virtual Greyhawk Con in November. And I'm very happy to do so. And some of that, by the way, comes courtesy of the fine people who are on Patreon, like Castle Entertainment, Carlos Lysing, the top-notch DM extraordinaire who had his players come up with some interesting things last night. Carlos, I gotta tell you, every time I chipped in some points to adjust a die roll during the game in favor of the players to help them, Grindelwolf's Lair would do it 3 times. So if I would give somebody a healing thing, Grindelwolf's Lair would pop off healing for all of the other 3 players. I did the kiss of it's not Ishtar. What is it? Type it in there if you can think of it off the top of your head. So I did the big one where you adjust the next 3 rolls of a player are either maxed or minimized depending on which is ideal for the player. And I did that for Venser. And of course, right away, Grindelwolf's Lair does it for the other 3 players. So I spend 10K. I actually was waiting until my total got up over 10K. And they were in this huge battle. And it was at like 9.9, and they were like on the brink of dying. And as soon as it flipped over to 10K, I popped it off. And I was so excited. I was like, okay, I got it. I managed to. These 3 die rolls will probably help. And it might save the life of one of these. And as soon as I did it, Grindelwolf's Lair, pop, pop, pop. All 3 other players get the big bonus. And then they just... they totally got their bacon out of it. Mine might have made a small difference, because they were really on the ropes. But those 3 extras they just turned the tide of the battle completely around. So Grindelwolf's Lair, he's the one. If you want to avoid having your players have too much of advantage, don't let him utilize your chat points to help players. Otherwise, forget about it. Forget about it. That's what I'm saying. Virtual Greyhawk Con. That's the one that's coming up this coming weekend. I know you're running some stuff over there. And I wonder if I can just put this up here. Oh, I think I can do this. And then... And then we got to get a little more real estate here. If I put that in there, is that going to be problematic? I don't think so. This is all about... We're gonna switch screens over to a full screen of... Well, not a completely full screen. So here's my schedule at Virtual Greyhawk Convention. October 2nd to 4th. You know, I wonder if I can bring myself into there. Oh, you can see how that green screen is even more wrinkly when... And it fluctuates because there's a fan on the other side in the room. And it's making it wavy. I haven't figured out how to undo any of that without getting one of those solid screens. This is just sort of a tarp. So there you go. Anyway, am I too big? Can I Can I smallify myself and keep myself in the corner? There you go. You don't put baby in a corner. But you do put Mark in there. So there I am, down in the corner. So what do we got going on here? We have got three, basically we put the three shows up. We'll start at 10 a.m. This was, yeah, I messed up the times originally. So it's 11 a.m. Eastern. It's 10 a.m. Central as per our now usual time. So we are starting at a regular time. We do intend to go for an hour, though. You can do a half-hour event, but nothing's starting on the half hour, so you leave people dead time in their schedule, and we might as well, I don't know, entertain them, such as this show can do. Same three, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we've got building adventures, GM reviews, and a rules retrospective. Now, I looked over the schedule. Let me see if I can pull up the entire event schedule. Messing things up too bad over here. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, you know what I wanted to look at? The timeline version. This is kind of cool. So here's Friday. And you'll note on Friday our show is 11 Eastern until noon. So we'll be done at 11 Central Time. And then there's a few games being run. But, when I looked over the schedule last week, there's a lot of 5th edition. There's a little bit of Pathfinder. There's a bit of 3rd edition. Somebody had some kind of homebrew. System they were using for something. And some of this is GHR, which I think is a living Greyhawk. We talked about that last week. So I don't think these are old living Greyhawk modules. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know. I know this. They are definitely Greyhawk modules. And notice it says 5th edition. Obviously, if they were old Greyhawk modules, this one's sold out. That's good. If they were old Greyhawk modules, they'd be running 3rd edition or 3.5, right? That's what we were doing with the Living Greyhawk in the early 2000s when it was a thing. So here's the schedule. We were at the afternoon, pretty full. The green ones here are the highlighted stream or seminar or RPG highlighted stream. So these are the things that are going up on the Lord Gasumba stream. So if you watch that, if you're familiar with that, you can watch those play out live. This bunch in here is all RPGs. They're not doing a lot of seminars on Friday, except the ones that are part of this Game Master Tricks of the Trade host, the Greyhawk campaign of Anna B. Meyer. So this Eastern Time, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. There's a seminar. And we can go on to see Saturday's schedule. A lot more starting earlier on Virtual Greyhawk Con. As you can see, there's a couple of Greyhawk Reborn. And that's what GHR stands for, is Greyhawk Reborn. It's a new living campaign. And I believe it's all new material. I was watching a stream last night. I think they said that over the last 7 years, they have developed 110 new scenarios, and it's actually the authors that run them. So these aren't just throwing these Greyhawk Reborn scenarios out into the wild and you wind up with any DM running them. These are run with care by the originator, which is good. So if something comes up that's unexpected, well, it's the guy who knows it best. He wrote it up. Highlighted stream Carlos, who's in the chat, I believe, still. Dark Hand Heart Strike with Carlos as a player. 9 a.m. Saturday. You're a braver man than I am, Carlos. That's 8 a.m. Central. I am not somebody who does that anymore. The earliest I start in a convention is 10 a.m. I don't do anything before 10 a.m. at a convention anymore. And with this convention, I'm doing my show for that first hour. And then I've got some time in between, always after the show, to decompress, grab a bite, grab a little lunch, and get ready to do something else. But I'm not sure what else I'm doing. Except that Bottle City Castle Greyhawk with Grow Dog. So he's doing this thing from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., 4 hour. And this is sold out. But this was a Zoom Theater of the Mind 1E game. So it's one of the few. I think most of the 1E games were being streamed and stuff, and the players were all picked out ahead of time. So there really weren't any 1E games to get into. And that's when I thought, geez, maybe I should just run a 1E game. If I can't get into a 1E game, but I don't want to overlap with someone else's 1E game. So if I do it Saturday, 2 p.m., would need to be like the slot. That's a Living Greyhawk. So that's got to be 5th edition. I looked at these. These are 5th. These are 5th. These are 3rd or 5th. I think one of them is a Pathfinder game, as I said. How late do we want to go, though? If we start, do we want to overlap with this? Is this a 1st edition game? Living Greyhawk. Nope, this one's a 3rd edition. It is on Roll20. Joe Cook is in it. Is playing. Renee's playing in this one. It's being run by Christopher Allen Slater. And what about levels? Suitable 4 to 6 players, level 2. A level 2 3rd edition game. That's interesting enough. I don't know if I'd want to jump from one game to another, though. So I was talking about Rise Up the Slave Lords. If we were to run a game on Saturday, we could do a 2 p.m. start. We could overlap some stuff. There's no way we won't, but at least if we don't start till 2, we won't overlap a 1st edition game. And 2 to 6? 2 to 7. These 3 games start at 8. That would give people an hour. 4-hour slot? 5-hour slot? I don't know. Any thoughts in the chat about that? That's something to consider. What do you think? Let me know. Chime in if you have any thoughts on the matter whatsoever. Here's Sunday's schedule. Once again, I'm starting at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern is what the schedule is showing. Do the OK Grognard show there. They're pretty full in the afternoon. They don't really have any large gaps. But of course it winds down in the evening. But they have Gray Gabbing? Is that what it's called? Gabbing in Greyhawk? Or that is the 7 o'clock, 6 p.m. Central. Ask the Experts. Okay. they're gonna focus their gabbing on Greyhawk, but it's always about Greyhawk, isn't it? I mean, it's good, but I don't. I think you'll get a lot of the what you come to expect on Sunday evening, which I think is good. John Birchfield is running something. Oh, this has got to be a seminar. Highlighted stream. They don't clarify there. Sunday at 3, 200 players. Will stream Blue Box, incredibly persistent campaign. Oh, okay. So this is John Birchfield's regular streaming game. I checked in on some of that yesterday. Blue Box Greyhawk. Okay, there you go. I checked in on some of that yesterday. He was running his regular stream. He has got a fun little stream going over there. Little stream? No, he gets later in the evening on Sunday. Nah. Sunday we're winding down, and I don't want to go up against the usual Sunday gabbing thing. I think Saturday's the ideal. I think there's enough stuff not going on. What is this? This is 5e also. This expedition to the Barrier Peaks. I think there's a hole here. So Grodog ends his first edition thing at 2 Eastern. So that'd be 1 Central. I hear you though, Prometheus. That evening on Sunday, I like, at GaryCon we like to wind down the convention with a game of Civilization, and we'll start it in the afternoon. But we'll be there while they're stacking the chairs, because Civilization can go a long time, and we'll just keep playing. I mean, we don't need to play until the last chit is off the board, but we have to be pretty sure we don't have to play until somebody has clinched the final card. We do sometimes. Sometimes it's a horse race, and there's a couple of people vying for first place. But a lot of times in old war games like that, Civilization, maybe not so much, but often enough, you get down toward the end and you can tell somebody is going to win it, and there's really not much anybody can do, barring some crazy out of left field mechanics. And with Civilization, there's no dice, and you pretty much have a handle on when the calamities are coming up in the card decks. So barring something unusual, extremely unusual, when you don't have any real randomness, somebody's winning that game, and you can kind of see it coming. So we'll call it at that point. Everybody will just agree, hey, yeah, you've got this one, and we'll finish it out. So we won't play a 12-hour Civ game if we can make do with a 10-hour Civ game. But we're all pretty good about moving our stuff and keeping stuff going, and we like to finish up a game pretty fast. But it looks like this is the hole. 2 o'clock. Now the question is, do I want a 4-hour session that ends before this? Or do I go on up and finish out 7 o'clock and then leave a gap? Or do I go 6 hours and go up to 8? Do I want to run a game for 6 hours? Is that a young man's conceit? The 6-hour game? I guess we could take a break sometime in the middle. It's going to need to be on Roll20. I can use a Discord channel. I probably use my the OK Grognard Show Discord server, which I have set up and have had set up for, wow, I probably set that up before I set up this Twitch channel, or the same day. So we use it for when we play board games and stuff, so we can communicate. My buddy Tom and myself and Wendy and Mark and Brad and whoever else is jumping in with us. Great Scott comes in and plays. or has at least once. Um, so 2 o'clock, 5 hour, 6 hour. What do we want to do? I say, well, the Greyhawk All Stars. This is going to be the specialty stream over here. I don't know if we're going to stream my thing or I'm just going to run it on Roll20 with Discord chat and leave it at that. Luke, Eric, Anna, Steve, Gary, Chuck, all playing. DMJ, Lord Gasumba DMing with his classic. I think I want to watch that, right? I think that is like the highlight of the entire convention. So I got to be free by 7 o'clock. All right, that clinches that. I think 2 to 7 is my window for a first edition game. But what am I going to run? Right? I mean, it's a Greyhawk convention. Well, I gave it some thought, and strangely, not that long ago, I was running a face-to-face campaign here in town, first edition. Alex Gygax had asked me to run a regular face-to-face game at the shop. We both had Tuesdays off at the time. And I put out the call for some other players. I thought, I want to run a big game. I think I wound up accepting like 10 players around. We lost a couple. We added a couple. We wound up playing mostly with 9. I don't think we actually played with fewer than 8 players at any given time. It was first edition. It was in my own homebrew. My own homebrew setting that's been running since 1974 when I started playing. And Alex played in it. Eventually, Mikey Gygax joined up. The wonderful Kim. Scott was playing. Jesse joined us later on after we lost somebody. I don't know how many people want to be called out for playing. Shane. I'm going to mention Shane because I don't start a campaign without Shane. Keith and Floyd joined me. They had been in my previous campaign, along with Johnny and Norm and Will. And I invited them to join this campaign, and 2 of the 6 that were playing in that previous campaign were free, so they joined up. We had our mapper Coulter, cartographer extraordinaire. So we had a good group. And toward the end of that, as we were winding down that first leg, there were around 7th level, the entire group. A couple of 6. I think somebody got up to 8th. Somebody missed a session here, missed a session there. Sometimes you miss the wrong session, you're out a bunch of treasure as well as experience points, because that's how that works in first edition. And good times there. So there was, not everybody had exactly the same amount of experience. And early on, we had a lot of deaths. I think Shane was on his 3rd or 4th character by the time they got to a point where they had enough scratch to start doing resurrections and raise deads and that sort of thing. And of course, once you get into that territory, you're losing fewer characters. There are a few Sphere of Annihilation, for instance, that makes it impossible to come back. And then, of course, there's the choice not to come back. Anyway, good times, a lot of fun. And at one point, Greyhawk Reborn, RPG, and Seminar. We'll run an RPG. At one point, Alex asked me, I asked everybody, well, we'll move on to a second leg here. And I had some stuff that they could do. I've got a wide setting. I run a sandbox. They could use the same characters. And I said, well, what interests you? And at one point, Alex said, well, I haven't really gotten a chance, because he's the youngest son, to play in some of his dad's old adventures. I said, well, I could do something like that, but I gotta say, that's kind of tough for me because most people know those adventures. You can't really just flat out run them, but you can run something inspired by them. Insteading with the Giants, first edition AD&D level 9th plus. Why don't we run this? So I'd been working on this to run at the table face to face, but I've got the materials and I started looking at it a little bit ago. Maybe I could do this on virtual tabletop. Wouldn't quite be the same, but um, same isn't bad necessarily. For more information, where do we go? I think we go here. Let's go to this. Go to this channel. For more information, clear that out. Put that in there. There we go. Preferred start time. So it's Eastern, Saturday, 2 p.m. Saturday. Right? And we'll go to... We don't want an alternate time. That's the only slot. If it can't fit in there, I'm not sure we can do it. Duration, 5 hours. 5 hours is good. That finishes it up in time to go check out the other thing. So I wrote up something to put in as a description. How's this sound? Taking inspiration from everything we know about the first and second and third adventures written by Gary so long ago, this event will be both homage and fresh as it takes a new tack on the time-honored classic. 6 players, 1E AD&D core, some experience, ages 13 plus. Let's put mature in there. We want a mature 13-year-olds, huh? And it's kind of like, bring your son if you want and come play. We won't be doing drugs or having nudity within the adventure. But there's violence and gore, and I don't know if I've ever been comfortable. I mean, I started at 11 because you couldn't start any sooner because the game wasn't. And I played war games before that. And I don't know. It's up to people to do their own thing, right, with their own kids. 9th level plus, pre-gens provided on the day. I think that covers everything there. 5 hours, max tickets, 6. Age range, we said 13 plus. Teen 13 plus, that's good. Game rules, 1E AD&D. Platform, we're going to do it on Roll20. Discord handle. Okay. I think we put that in not just as a handle, but with the number, which is okay. I just need to double check it. There's the Discord over on the other monitor. Pardon me, this will be boring for you right now, huh? Streaming channel. I don't think we're going to stream. I don't want to be competing with his other streams, for one. Plus, with less than a week to go, do we want to force people to have to be streamers? There it is. Okay. That is the streaming Discord handle. There we go. Required. Okay. Create media platform. We'll use their Discord. We'll do it in the room. Let's not use the OK Grognard Discord. Let's use the Virtual Greyhawk Con Discord. It'll be on their thing, and that'll work. Event submission rules. Seeking game masters to run events, GMs have the option to run events as a bystander or play in their own event. So if you're running a board game and you just want to teach it and let other people play. If the event sells out and the GM has not purchased a ticket to reserve their seat, they are expected to participate as a GM only. And again, RPGs are like that too. You're not taking a seat and being a player. As a GM, you agree to tidy your event space before you leave and to vacate it in advance of the next event so they may set up. So really you're playing just like in a physical convention. You're playing to 10 minutes up to, for the most part. I agree to the event submission rules. Well, here it is. Insteading with the Giants. That was my little joke, because is it the Giants modules, or are we doing this instead? Oh, we're doing this instead. Oh, it's steading of the Hill Giants. Well, let's expand it. Let's not just have Hill Giants. Obviously, we don't even in the original. We've got some extra Giants. But we can use anything in this now, right? Any Giants at all. All right, let's submit it. Hopefully it gets accepted. It's pending review as of now. So we won't know until Jay sees this later whether or not this will officially be accepted. So we will find out. Tell you what, let's pop back over to video capture. Boom. Go back over to here. I think we've got all we need from that, right? Good enough. We can fix that screen. Well, I'll tell you, everybody, this is a successful 200th show. Let me close down that Discord thing, or I'm going to get all sorts of popping off noises. Boom, timeline done. Boom, we've submitted. We'll see how quickly we get some kind of response. I'm not going to keep the stream going until it comes in because I don't know. He may be busy. We may not find out until later today. The deadline for submitting events is 10 p.m. tonight. I don't know if he... should I maybe run this twice? Let's see if he accepts this one. I don't know if there's a second place where I wouldn't be overfilling their schedule if I ran this more than once. I'm not obviously I'm doing the show each day, so Eastern time 11 till noon, Central time 10 a.m. to 11. I've got the show to do. I've got some things to do right on the heels of the show that take some time. So I can't really do anything till at least noon, if anything at all, right? And afternoon and evening, I think they've got stuff going based on the schedule we looked at that have open slots in 5th and 3rd and Pathfinder games. And did they have some DCC stuff? No, I might have seen that on the Autumn Revel, which is the following weekend, which also means later today I should take some time and cook up events for that. I've got my show scheduled. The Autumn Revel runs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Weirdly. That was something I discovered because I didn't think that was the case. Or maybe I looked at it wrong. October 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. October 9th is a Friday, and it doesn't start till 4. So we don't need to do the show then. 10th and 11th, I scheduled to do the OK Grognard show. And the 12th is a Monday, and I don't know. Sure, we can enjoy the show. I don't know if I do weekly news and announcements as an event. It's not really seminar worthy, right? I mean, Friday, building adventures for Greyhawk Con. Saturday, both conventions doing GM reviews. That can be a seminar. Sunday, rules retrospective. It's a first edition. Let's take a deep dive on some rule or other. That works fine as a seminar. And both of those can be interactive. Other people can chime in with their opinions of some source material that's being used. And for the GM reviews, building adventures, of course, you can take suggestions from people as you're working on things. And of course, Sunday's rules retrospective. Everybody interprets the rules slightly differently. Well, I'm giving my opinion on how I utilize a rule or how I think it reads, how I believe it's meant to be used. There can be other interpretations for these things. So it's not uncommon to sit down with somebody, even with these old rule sets that you'd think could be ironed out 40 plus years for first edition. You talk to two people. There's going to be some slightly different interpretations on those rules, and that's cool. But this will be fun, running a first edition game as part of a convention for Virtual Greyhawk Con. Insteading with the Giants is kind of a first edition revisiting of the whole Steading of the Hill Giants. Obviously, I know the originals. I played in them, and were they part of the AD&D Open back then? I started going to Gen Cons in '75, and played in the AD&D Opens when I went. Man, it's been so long. It's hard to remember. Hard to remember all that stuff 40 plus years ago. But it was a lot of fun. And they revised that 4th edition. I didn't really run 4th edition, but I remember going through that and reading it and enjoying it because it was a reimagining. It wasn't a scene-for-scene reshoot, if you will, of the original adventures. But why would you want that? Just a conversion from 1st to 4th? It would be awkward to begin with because 4th was a very different rule set than 1st edition is. You might be able to do a exact conversion or close to it for 5th. 3rd edition, very rules heavy, but I think you could capture the spirit of stuff. It'd be more of a rock'em sock'em robot slog, but that's okay. 1st edition can be all about the combats or close to it with some nice interjections and stuff. Anyway, 1st edition is really the rule set you want to run that with. And it hasn't been. It's been revisited with different edition rules. But there you go. Oh, and there's also, oops, it's over behind the thing. Rue Emerson's Against the Giants. So Against the Giants was what they called the 4th edition revision. And Against the Giants was also the name they used for the title of the novel that came out in 1999 by Rue Emerson. And she did a good job. So there's a lot of source material to take into account what's going to feed not just not just Gary's. It's obviously the foundation and the underpinnings and the spirit of what's going to happen on Saturday, should this event be accepted. Eastern, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. And yeah, Eastern, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., right? Let's double check it. I know I just put it in. But we talked about so much of that schedule stuff. 2 p.m., 5 hours Eastern. So it's going to be Central, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah, okay. That's not confusing for anyone else. Just me, right? Okay. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to running it. I hope some people sign up for it. Um, I can say it's, I think, the only available first edition adventure. So we'll see what happens there. Once it gets accepted, of course, I'll start popping off about it all over social media and let people know. If you're not haven't gone to Greyhawk Con or haven't signed up for it yet, it's only like I think it's like $3.12 because they have some tax or fees or whatever. It's essentially a $3, and that goes to. Let me double check. I want to say it's a children's hospital, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. So the badge money is actually going as a donation. This is not intended to be a moneymaker. It is intended to be a fun get together for Greyhawk aficionados. And so this will definitely be a first edition Greyhawk adventure that I'm running ostensibly, although I'm not going to run it exactly like the first edition adventure module, because if you played it already, and a lot of people have who are first edition players, you'll know everything that's coming up. It'll cleave fairly close map wise. I'm kind of borrowing from outside of but similar. You'll see. It'll be fun. I don't want to give too many spoilers away and ruin it. I certainly don't want too many people buckling down over the next week and researching the heck out of it and then knowing everything that's going to happen. You know, I'm not saying anybody would be a cheater, but it's hard not to try to get a leg up on these things. You're fighting your way into a dangerous situation, and you want to be sure that your adventuring group will be successful. Of course, you're going to do the best you can. In any event, this is where we're at. Virtual Greyhawk Convention next weekend. Autumn Revel the following weekend. Gamehole Con virtual. First full weekend of November. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up here in the fall. There'll be some other things later in October. Don't forget Marktoberfest. My birthday, late in October. Halloween coming up late in October. So we'll have some fun stuff tied into that for the show. I think we got to start doing some more themed stuff. And maybe part of what we should do is start planning some of these, at least the overarching theme of some of these episodes a little further in advance, and then beyond just GMing tips or campaign discussion. Maybe we can be a little more specific for some upcoming shows so that people can have some idea of what's going to happen if they join the stream or whatever. I mean, we always know after it's uploaded, after we've done it, and the title of the show as it appears on YouTube is what it was about. But knowing in advance what it's going to be about would probably be helpful for those who like to join in the stream chat and maybe bring something to the table for discussion if they know that's going to be a appropriate question or topic or example or story of their own from back in the day when they were playing first edition. They don't want to interrupt the show with something that's off topic, so helps to know in advance. So maybe we'll do a little bit of that with the scheduling too. At least cherry picking a few shows, kind of like we did today. We've been talking for a week that we were going to make this change in the time and make the announcement of a possible event, and we decided last night, yep, this is the way to go. We'll do this, and we announced it today. And so there you go. Insteading with the Hill Giants. Nah, insteading with the Giants. We're not limiting it to Hill either. That's part of it. Part of what we've done is made it maybe a little more dangerous. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get some veteran players who know their stuff and can play a 9th plus level character. And you know what? Don't be daunted though. If you've never played a higher level like that, you're gonna have a character sheet. You're gonna have your spell lists all set up if you're a spellcaster. If you like playing a wizard, magic user rather, and you haven't played a higher level game and you want to jump in and give it a try, why not? It's certainly no restriction on signing up and giving it a go. You should have a first edition book with you, though. There is a website where you could look spells up, but you're going to want to have a first... If you're a spellcaster in a first edition game, that's probably cleric and or magic user, obviously, or illusionist or druid. You're going to want to have access to your own player's handbook because it's tough to not have the spell descriptions, especially the ranges and whether there's saving throw and all that other stuff, because you don't want to just be casting those spells without knowing what it's going to do before you say you're going to cast it. What's the joke? Don't tell me how big the room is. I said I cast fireball. Is that the meme that's going around the last year or so? Probably longer. Anyway, let's wind her down. We're past the 50-minute mark. Not all these shows are going to be longer either. Let me just say that I'm generally going to be sticking with the half-hour format going forward. The shows that are part of the conventions will be closer to an hour, probably like this long. What do we got? 54 minutes so far. So the ones that I tie in with a convention will definitely be closer to an hour. But regular shows will be quick half hour. We'll get in, we'll gab about some crap, and we'll get out because you got things to do. I'm a busy man. Really? No, I'm not. But I will be someday when I grow up. So half hour is probably the extent of what I want to do most days anyway. You know, I'm supposed to be semi-retired here, right? Plus, I've got writing to do. I got to buckle down and make sure this is the best convention game that was ever run by a first edition AD&D DM with all the marbles. I've lost those, didn't I? Anyway, it'll be fun. Let me switch over and we will say our goodbyes. I want to thank everybody, of course, for joining us today. If you're in the chat stream, always make sure that you follow the Twitch channel and chime in on the chat stream, because when you do, you make an ass out of you and me. No, that's not it. That's something else. When you do that, then what you're doing is you're letting me know you're not a bot. And we give away something every week to somebody who is a follower who makes sure we know they're not a bot. It's not that tough to do. Prometheus 2128 did it today, and our buddy Carlos chimed in on the chat stream. He had a little something to say. I think he was just thanking me for having popped around yesterday to his adventure. The Geek God is not a bot. Look at you. The Geek God. Well, that is an ambitious name. I think that's fantastic. What's your first name? What's your real first name, Geek God? I usually throw that down the first time I get somebody on who's a new follower, and put that in here, and then I'll know it. I won't ask you in the future, and I can keep track of who you are in case you win, because I'm going to have to be able to get a hold of you, and I'm going to have to know your name to put it in for the like I did with Dan's today. Danny won that. Josh, old geek. Nice. I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. I'm going to be 58 this year? Yeah. Yeah. First edition is my main game, although I started with original D&D back in 74. Started with Chainmail before that. Good times. But first edition's what I kind of settled on. And I played all the editions, and I played other RPGs, but I always kept a first edition game going and in my back pocket, because that was the rule set that really was the one I loved and became the one that I enjoyed the most. So there you go. Here's the schedule now going forward. Notice 10 a.m. every day. Tomorrow we've got cartography and world building campaign discussion on Wednesday, GMing tips on Thursday, building adventures on Friday, GM reviews on Saturday, and a rules retrospective on Sunday. Back around the horn and more weekly news and announcements next Monday. I want to thank Josh for signing up, Geek God, and thanks to everybody else who follows the show, and thanks to Patreon supporters like Carlos and Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, and Heath, our flailing Australian. He's a good man. He is a good man. Follow the Antipodean D20 and Fat Dragon Games and Castle Entertainment for more gaming goodness. A buddy Shane, quite the guy. And you know what? We've got a recent Mr. Hershey with Fat Goblin Games. Oop. Oh, could you hear that? Got a little alarm going off. I better get going. Wonderful. Thank you so much. If you're following this on YouTube, catching up with it, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like what you're hearing, and also feel free to make a comment. If you got some constructive criticism, it's always appreciated, and it'll help make the show better. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., tomorrow and every day, on the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.